Welcome back, everyone, to race number 2 of the TCUK 2022 round number 1 here at Donington Park. My name is Daniel Handover, and I'm joined by Dylan Big. So, race 1, obviously interesting race 1, bit of battling going on as we would have seen as per usual. But race 2, following on from the actual finishing positions of race 1, they've now got to obviously make sure they get good start down into red gate, maximise the position. Some people have moved forward, other people have unfortunately moved back. A couple of drivers left to go on the grid, and then we will be underway for a formation lap. But as it stands, we have Toby Davis on the front row alongside Chris Butcher. Matt Richards in P3, so the top 3 have very much stayed the same. Matthew Churgwin in 4th, Ross McGregor P5, Dan Kell in P6, both the drivers moving up. Daniel Hurlock in 7th, Cameron Brewster takes P8 with Dan Hurt in 9th. Chris Shepherd rounds out your top 10, Luke Maguire in 11th, Johan Leppert in 12th, Phil Morby 13th, John Monroe P14 after a penalty, Max Spooner 15th, Scott Morris 16th, Ben Willis in P17, Sam Downman 18th, Luke Mitchell after another penalty in 19th, and then Ryan Elliott rounding out the top 20. So, Dylan, obviously race 1, we now know we have a bit of understanding of what the cars are like. We have a bit of understanding of what the drivers are like as well. I think this can probably tell us a little bit more of what's going to happen in race 2.
Yeah, it was a 1-2 finish for THR team, I believe. That is Toby Davis. Yes, THR, Toby Davis, and Chris Butcher. So we already know that they're probably the team to look out for, at least in this round. But then you also need to think, if you look down the order sort of thing, we know Matt Richards, quick starting car, rear wheel drive as you pointed out. And then there's John Monroe. We saw him making a very opportunistic move. I know people down the order will like getting their elbows out and having a bit of a send, and not gonna go for it is the best way you could probably put it. So we know we're gonna have some scrappy racing. Everyone had the opening race of the season to get themselves comfortable, get to know their surroundings again for this year's racing, and then we're gonna get back into it, and it's gonna be, hopefully we get some good racing, some aggressive but clean racing. We get some brilliant moves. It's just brilliant to watch for us here and everyone at home.
Indeed, very, very true, very well put there. So drivers making the way down onto their starting positions. Toby Davis will once again be leading the way. Interesting enough, though, Matt Richards starting in P3. Do not count him out because he will be getting a very, very good start as long as he can get it. Have a look at that, Toby Davis. You can already see he's mirrored what Matt Richards is doing. You can see Matt Richards just behind, taking a very, very aggressive stance going into, well, they've almost sort of like pinching up together. Couple of laps, a couple of seconds to go, and then we'll be underway. And in fact, here we go. It wasn't the good start that we normally would see from Matt Richards. Got caught out a little bit, possibly by the start. So he is going to slot. He's only going to stay in P3. Chris Butcher, though, tries to go on the outside. There's going to be Matt Richards. Oh, I thought he was going to dive down going into 1, but no, not at all. But they both make contact. The THR guys make contact. That is going to allow Matt Richards to go through. Look at that. Slots up into P2. Takes no second chance on that and slots straight up and then splits the THR car. Scott Morris has had a moment as well in the Subaru Levorg. He now drops way to the back of the grid. That is a big, big shame there. Unfortunately, a couple of other cars as well. I can't remember who that was. One of the Astras. I think that was Ryan Elliott, apologies. We're just being told that it also had a small note for the Team Hard outfit as we go through a big, big sideways moment for Chris Butcher there on colder tyres, just trying to get them warmed up a little bit. Can't quite get it sorted though. Davis has stormed away, 0.6 of a second already on this first lap alone. It's yellow in sector 2, but all drivers making the way through. Still relatively clean at the moment. They're all relatively close together as well. Chris Butcher might have a move possibly on Matt Richards. We'll have to see as he goes down into the final chicane, and it is going to be side by side. Matt Richards manages to stay ahead though. That would have cost him, although Ross McGregor, he might try and make a move now. He's going to be on the outside going down into Redgate from Chris Butcher. So is this the battle for P3 that's really, really going forward here? Is he going to try and go through the outside? The timing tower tells us that that is not the case. And the gap is still no. So Ross McGregor does slot back into 4th with Dan Kell right behind reigning champion in P5th. First lap, as it turns out then, first lap pretty clean, but good capitalisation there, Dylan, from Matt Richards.
Yeah, it was Very good. He saw the THR guys getting a bit squabbling despite having a poor start, especially with a rear-wheel drive car. Got a lot of wheel spin off the line and he sort of bogged down because of it. Then there was Chris Butcher, who got a very good start, trying to get past his teammate. Davis blocked him, and then Matt Richards found the gap as they sort of just hit bumpers a bit down the inside, and eventually maybe the bad start kind of helped him a bit there, because if he got a good start we could have been seeing him go 3 wide and that could have ended in catastrophe. But we also saw further back down the order, a more typical start at Redgate where cars do go off, do adventure towards the Hollywood stand. And that's the sort of characteristics of touring car racing, especially Donington as well. These cars, this track works hand in hand. It's brilliant. And Butcher has also got past McGregor again. Ooh, hang on, we have lost Matt Richards actually. He's gone down the order. There's no yellows about.
Must have had a moment or a possible bit of contact, but he's really struggling a little bit. He's getting pressured. He's getting pressured quite heavily here by Dan Herlock. And go side by side, bit of contact there as well between the two. Manages to all keep it in check though. Although keep an eye out there. Is that further beyond? That's number 18, I believe. That's Tom Eli that's going through. He's going to be a new entrant for this season. Still side by side is Matt Richards and Dan Herlock. That's a big sideways moment though. Fair play to Herlock for keeping it all in check. The Team Hard outfit. That's another spin. Big spin there for Churgwin. That's cost down. That's a shame there. Unfortunately, good result and strong finishing position in race 1. Unfortunately, not going to be the same for race 2. That was a bit of a switchback there. Wow, that was pretty aggressive there from Eli, the number 13. Is he going to try and make it stick? Actually, sorry, that's the number 18 instead. Apologies, yes. Yes, Luke McGuire. A little bit squirrely there. Honestly, Matt Richards, just can't. Must have had obviously a moment possible that he's picked up a little bit of damage there as well. As he's we see a couple of the Team Hard outfit there. As I think that's Shepherd that's getting trying to take the defensive line going into turn 1. He does indeed manage to take that defensive line, so that will cost him. Although John Monroe, and that is I'm trying to think actually that is number 22 of John Monroe. Whoa, big moment there. Who was that? Someone's going to come across the circuit. I think manages to all avoid it. That was one of the Team Hard outfits,
I believe, is Elliott.
Yes, that wasn't. That wasn't Chris Shepherd. That was teammate Ryan Elliott there.
It was Dan Ryan Elliott.
Big moment up ahead. Though they're going to go 3 wide down into Copper. This is not going to go. This is going to go all sorts of wrong. They're still tagging each other. The 18, the 11. Matt Richards decides that he wants to take no. He needs no second invitation there. But have a look. This is one of the Zanjo cars. Number 22. Being very aggressive now. Side by side, that is John Moreau and Chris Shepherd. They're going to go side by side down to the final chicane. Are they going to manage to go side by side? Yes, they do. Doors hang in pretty much the entirety of the final chicane, but it is going to be John Monroe that's going to have the inside going into Redgate, which will give him an advantage, although we see that Shepherd sees that. No, he can't quite get the drive. So John Monroe managing to slot back into 6th. Good performance there. Ross McGregor, though, I've just seen as well. He's just been trundling along a little bit further ahead. He's in P3, so certainly for a few guys, they made some big moves.
Yeah, a man of opportunistic moves in the first race, doing it again. John Monroe got 3, was that 2 or 3 he got in one corner there, making the most of everyone squabbling, bit of contact. He says, thank you very much, down the inside he goes. And job's done. That was a brilliant move there by John Monroe. Definitely, he's not the highest, he's not racing in the highest of positions, but he's definitely giving us a show as everyone's drifting there through McLean's. Don't get too alarmed, that is a very normal sight really, them drifting through McLean's and Coppice at Donington. It's quite a sight in real life. If you ever have the chance to go, definitely make the most of it. Yellow's in sector 2. It's been a more scrappy race than the first one. Cameron Brewster's under pressure there, who from can't have a look at bit of a squabble going on, as that was one of the THR cars going down the inside. I believe that is Mitchell getting the defending champion Dan Kell as we go up towards Redgate on lap 6 then. The THR of who I literally said his name and he's gone off the top of my head. It's that chaotic, it's all going from the top of my dome.
But you got the THR, that was Toby Davis and then Chris Butcher. Toby Davis, which is still leading, and then Butcher 1.6 seconds behind. But Ross McGregor is pressuring the back of Butcher quite a lot, so we might see if we can see how that battle develops as the laps progress. Nearly halfway through race number 2. And obviously, bear in mind, we've got one more race after this. There is Ross McGregor. You can see absolutely glued to the back. Now riding on board with Gregor. There's a bit of contact there, pushing him along. That's something that you also see quite a lot in touring cars. The top 3, the top 4 all use attack modes once again as they go through. It seems that the Vauxhall's a little bit quicker than the Ford, than the Focus going down on the main straight. They both use attack mode at roughly the same point. It just seems that Vauxhall is a little bit faster on the straight. It seems to be a bit faster through the final sector in general. And Ross McGregor seems to be able to close the gap up going through down Craner Curbs through Old Hairpin. Bear in mind, this is a fast circuit. That's very late on the brakes there for Ross McGregor. Might be a little bit too late. Yes, it was. He cost himself, loses a little bit of time there on exit. Not too much, though, but he has lost a little bit of time. There's more battling going on around in the top 10. Brewster, Mitchell, Herlock. They're only a couple of tenths away from each other. And in fact, Munro, Shepherd, Brewster and Mitchell are the big train that you'll just maybe able to see. You can just see Matt Richards there in back of shot. 3.8 seconds down in P5. We'll have to see what he's able to do in terms of lap time. There's a yellow in Sector 2, and I believe that was one of the Subaru Lavore cars just pulling out of the way, allowing everyone to go through. That may have been Sam Dowman for one of the Wheelsman racing cars. Ross McGregor still pressuring the back very, very heavily of Chris Butcher, wanting this move. Have a look at Luke Maguire, just sitting there, patiently waiting, not trying to use up his tyres, because that's, again, something that we could very well see come the end of this race. If drivers push their cars a little bit too hard, that's a move, possibly. I think I may have just seen a move there a little bit further down. One of the Infinity cars, may have been Cameron Brewster, perhaps, for the Dreg Racing. Got a move, and I think it may have been, although we now move back up to Ross McGregor versus Chris Butcher side by side down into Craner Curbs. Who's going to have the opportunity? Who's going to have the drive going through into Old Hairpin? It is going to be Chris Butcher still, but is Ross McGregor to try and make a move? No, he tries to, but doesn't succeed. This will allow Maguire to come track up. All of a sudden, the gap between Maguire and McGregor has halved, and now Maguire is possibly going to try and make a move going through Schwant's curve down into McLean's. Can't quite do it, though. So it is, once again, a 3-way battle for P3. Depending on how these guys battle, Matt Richards, for this final half of the race, may also be on the cards to catch up here. We simply don't know at this stage.
It's another one of these races where, as McGregor trying to be a bit opportunistic because it's getting very scrappy. Chris Butcher goes defensive on the inside line. McGregor couldn't quite find the gap. There, Maguire as well, trying to see if he could find a way through. Poor exit there from Ross McGregor is now going to leave him vulnerable to Maguire. McGregor goes offensive as they go up towards Redgate round the outside. Maguire is going to try and go, and I think he's going to be able to get it done as they come back into shot, and he does. Brilliant move around the outside there for Luke McGregor. For Luke Maguire and Ross McGregor. Poor exit out of the final chicane has left him very vulnerable. And then again, he's not even close enough to try and fight back in towards the Old Hairpin. But right now, Toby Davis is running away with this, and that little battle there and switch position is going to give Chris Butcher a bit of a break. Maybe a chance to close down on his teammate who's been flawless so far these first 2 races. Or maybe if he can just hope to hold position as Maguire and McGregor continue to scrap out as we go up towards Coppice. Very tricky double apex corner, drift out wide, swing it back in, and now this is the number 99 and number 87, I believe.
Dan Cow, unfortunately, has fallen down the order quite a lot. You have a look at that. He's down into 13th, which is running P5, P6 at one point. A bit of a shame there for Dan Cow, but he's got a little bit of time to catch up, a little bit of time to make some positions up. The next person up ahead of him, 1.6 seconds down, is Daniel Herlock. Sorry, 1.6 seconds ahead. So we'll keep an eye out for that. A little bit further up the order, there are only a couple of positions. This is Phil Morby versus Dan Hunt. And Hunt being the Lavore. So front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. But then, have a look, Daniel Herlock is wanting to try and capitalise on both of these cars battling. Actually, by these two battling, this will also allow Dan Cow to catch up, as we see Morby taking a little bit of grass going down into Craner Curves. That's very, very dangerous. A little bit less dangerous than a front-wheel drive car, but dangerous nevertheless. And Dan Cow has caught up a little bit. I don't think it's really by too much. It's going to have to be some more scrapping, which there is. Phil Morby tries now around the outside. He's going to be the inside for Chance Curve. He's going to be on the outside for McLean. It's a brave move. Bit of a big lock-up there, unfortunately, for Dan Hunt. Big lock-up on the rear, you see, just sends the car forward. I'm surprised the rear didn't come around, in all honesty. But have a look. Dan Kell now decides that he wants to, well, he's going to need no second invitation, is he? So he now jumps up into P11-2 for the price of 1. And in the space for about 200 yards, he makes up 2 positions. What it has, though, allowed... this has actually released Daniel Hurlock as well. So there isn't the three-way battle, but it's now... well, there is a three-way battle, but it's Daniel Hurlock has now been allowed to pull a bit of a gap, which is around about 1.5 seconds now. Further up the field, Mitchell versus... this is Cameron Brewster that's going to be having a bit of side-by-side between the two, and it is going to be Cameron Brewster making that move stick. And I'll tell you what, have a look at this. John Monroe wants a bit of a piece of the action as well. He's going to be on the outside for old Hairpin. It's a dangerous move to try and stick around the outside. Does he try and get the cutback? He tries to go for the cutback. What a move there for John Monroe. Absolutely timed to perfection. Really, really good stuff. Dan Hunt is trying to get back past Dan Kell, but can't quite get it sorted at the moment. He's being pressured quite aggressively by Phil Morby as well. Sorry, not Phil Morby. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's being pressured by Ryan Elliott instead. At the moment, nothing coming of it. Dan Hunt really wants this position back off of Dan Kell. Is he going to try and move? He tries up the inside of Coppice. He does. That pushes Dan Kell a little bit wide, and there you go. Look at that. That is Ryan Elliott that goes and gets the both of them. Another position that's been taken, 2 positions in 1 once again. And I think Dan Hunt, he may have been dropping back. I wonder if he may have just been stopping a penalty being applied to him there, because that potentially was a little bit too much contact for the move. Who has, the person that has gained most in that is Ryan Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Elliott was just a bit patient, let them squabble a bit, and that's the sort of thing as Dan Kell very sideways there through Redgate. That's going to leave him vulnerable down towards the old hairpinners. Dan Hutt tries to get through as... Oh, there's some contact there, actually. That's what happened. Wow, that was a massive shunt to the back. But Dan Kell under pressure then from the number 99. Dan Hutt as they go up towards McLean's, through Starkey's, the number 48, I believe that is trying to go through, down at McLean's, when a bit of contact, Dan Kell goes a bit sideways, and now as number 40 is going to try and get his way through as well. That is Johannes Lappet, and Dan Kell, the defending champion, losing a place out there, actually losing 2, bit sideways, a very good move from Dan Hunt, and then his teammate will follow through. Both new entrances then. That is... What team is that? That is the... If I can... Dan Hutt and Johannes Lappet. What team is that?
I believe just looking through the through the spotters guide, which we'll be able to tell you in a minute. Moving back now to the racing at hand. Ross McGregor has dropped down to P4. Dan Kell is dropping up. He's battling quite aggressively still as well. So the Zancho Simsport guys getting very much stuck in. A little bit of a lock-up there. Tiny bit of lock-up. That has cost a little bit of time for Luke Maguire in the BMW. So that will be putting, again, a little bit more strain on his tyres. 3 more laps to go here. Davis up ahead still with a 2-second lead now on Butcher. Maguire in 3rd. McGregor in 4th. And then Richards in 5th. 5.5 seconds down from the leader. But he has caught up a little bit. There's the TR-powered Geeks Energy. There we are. There's Lohans Lepit for the Geeks Energy Subaru Levorg. We are powered at number 15th currently, and then Dan Kell only a couple of tenths ahead, but he may be nursing some damage or something. He doesn't quite get a very, very good run out of Coppice, although either that or the Levorg is insanely fast along the straight. Late on the brakes though, Dan Kell goes. He manages to hold it around the outside. Good move there, bit of contact, more contact as well between the two. And now it's a drag race down all the way into Redgate. Who is going to get the drive? It seems to be Dan Kell that's going to be taking a little bit more. He's going to be ahead going into the corner. He goes for a nice wide line, trying to get the cut back. Johannes Leppe, he goes a little bit wide, a bit of sideways moment as well. That will cost him. But unfortunately, Dan Kell can't capitalise on that movement there. Luke Maguire, still battling. He wants to get past Butcher, doesn't he? He's only got 2 more laps to do it, though, so he hasn't got very long. You see, again, just moving out, trying to fill his mirrors, going down into Coppice once again. The last thing he wants to do, though, is cost himself. He goes for a very wide line, trying to carry as much speed as he can. Attack mode's been used everywhere. Interesting enough, though, Butcher hasn't used an attack mode. Seems to be making all that much difference, though. This Astra seems to be absolutely blinding in a straight line. So regardless of whether attack mode is used or not, it doesn't seem that the Vauxhalls have to worry about it.
Yeah, going back to the Dan Kell thing, I believe he does have damage. I mean, we saw a replay of a massive amount of contact lead up towards Coppice with Dan Hutt, so I believe, yeah, it's probably definitely affecting his straight line speed a lot. I mean, he did go just straight into the back of him, so I'm surprised that Dan Hutt has been nursing it quite well if he's got any damage, but I'm almost certain that Dan Kell's definitely picked up some damage, and the defending champion is not having a good weekend so far, as he's currently down in 15th position. But this is the battle for second. Again, same time as last race, lap 15. Only got about a lap and a half to go. It's a really short lap here. Chris Butcher, Luke Maguire and Ross McGregor all going at it. Ross McGregor wasn't in this little scrap last time, but he has now got himself into it for race 2. This is Luke Maguire tucked into the slipstream. He doesn't have attack mode. Chris Butcher does use attack mode though to go defensive through the chicane. Will go try and get a good exit. Yellow's in sector 3. That's probably down at Coppice. Oh no! Who's that that's gone sideways? That is one of the Geeks Energy.
That is indeed one of the Geeks Energy cars. Couldn't quite see who that was. That may have been Johannes Leppit that has dropped down the order. We'll see what the timing tower tells us. No, it's not Johannes Leppit. No, teammates as well. So it's the teammate of the Geeks Energy car, Scott Morris. That could have been, well, it could have been Scott Morris or Dan Hunt, we've been told actually as well. Apologies. Yes, Dan Hunt has dropped down the order. Bit of a shame there. Just maybe caught a little bit on the grass, possibly bumped over the curb as well on the chicane. That cost him. Again, just rotation in the car, so a shame there, unfortunately. But final lap, Toby Davis. Whoa, that was a big send there by Ross McGregor. That was, I want to be caught out there a little bit by Maguire and the braking, possibly going down into McLean's. But it is going to be Matt Richards tries to go around the outside of Ross McGregor. Final lap battle here, 4P4. Richards does manage to hold it. Attack mode's being used all as where available, but Ross McGregor hasn't got one, or either that, he just hasn't used it. So Matt Richards, in a last-minute move there, a last-minute capitalisation, manages to go into P4, but it is 2 for 2 for Toby Davis, taking the race win for race number 2. So can he make it 3 out of 3? We'll be seeing in the next 20 minutes or so. Cameron Brewster, P6 we see there, but Butcher in second. Once again, a 1-2 for the THR outfit. In the Aston Maguire in P3, Matt Richards 4th, and then McGregor are your top 5. Brewster comes across the line in 6th. There's Johannes Leppit there. And I believe that was the Geeks Energy cars coming across the line together. Matthew Chergwin, again, very, very strong performance in race 1 with just that bit of a spin early on the exit of McLean's. Big shame there, so he will come across the line in 17th place. But yeah, Cameron Brewster in 6th, John Monroe 7th, Chris Seppard 8th, Daniel Hurlock is 9th with Ryan Elliott rounding out your top 10. Phil Morby in 11th, Dan Hunt in 12th, Johannes Leppit in 13th, Dan Kell 14th, and then we've got Luke Mitchell 15th, Spooner in 16th, and then Chergwin 17th, Morris, Ben Willis, and Dowman round out 18th, 19th, and 20th. So race number 2 has concluded. Once again, some exciting racing, a little bit more aggressive than we saw from race 1. But then again, drivers are getting used to themselves, getting used to the car, getting used to the drivers that they are also racing with, and getting used to the track itself. The track does develop, so that is also something they'll be getting more comfortable with generally, especially when you get 3 races. You do have that constant evolution of the track to make sure that you capitalize and make sure you really utilize. You have to get used to the new conditions between races. But overall, though, really, really exciting race. And we do have one more race for you, and then we'll be having a chat with a couple of our drivers, all being well. So we will be taking a very, very short break once again to get everything ready for race number 3 of the TCUK 2022 season, round number 1 here at Donington. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to race number 3 for the TCUK Round 1 here at Donington Park with myself, Daniel Handover, and Dylan Pig. First 2 races have been absolutely fantastic. Really, really good racing, as per usual. Something that we expected with touring cars, and also something that we expected with VMO. It's been a very, very successful day, whichever way you look at it, for the THR grid. But now comes the reverse grid here. There is a warm-up lap to go, and what warm-up lap is going, we're going to read you down the grid. So we had a top 12 reverse grid, so the highest we can actually get. So as it turns out, and as it stands now, the grid is as follows. Dan Hunt in first, Phil Morby in second, Ryan Elliott takes P3, and then Daniel Hurlock in P4. A little bit further down, we have Chris Shepherd in 5th, John Monroe takes P6, Cameron Brewster in 7th, with Ross McGregor P8. As we move a little bit further down as well, Matt Richards in 9th, Luke McGuire takes P10, Chris Butcher in 11th, Toby Davis takes P12, so he's going to have his work cut out certainly. Johannes Leppard in 13th, Dan Kell in 14th, Luke Mitchell takes P15 on the grid, Matthew Churgwin in 16th, Scott Morris 17th, Ben Willis 18th, Callum Wilson 19th, and then Sam Dowman will be taking the final spot on the grid. So, this reverse grid has certainly shaken things up a little bit, Dylan, and I think one of the people we're going to have to really keep an eye out for is Toby Davis, because he's going to have his work cut out for him if he wants to make it 3 out of 3 today.
Yeah, we're not really seeing him have much action, especially in race 2 with the battle for second going on. He just ran away with it and midway through race 1 as well, so we've not really seen him have too much battle, so it's going to be good to see him get tested a bit here with a full reverse grid. He'll have to have a mighty charge, and it is the same race distance as the previous 2, but reverse grid races, we love them. It's just very interesting, a lot of chaos. It shakes things up. We've got some of the slower drivers at the front. It also gives them a chance to win as well, whilst we have the quicker drivers trying to make the way up. And it's reverse grid races are always action-packed, no matter what car, what track, whatever series. It will be the most action-packed race, and it's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most here.
Indeed. So, drivers will be getting ready. And in fact, we are actually away. That was a quick start. That was a very, very quick start. Dan Hunt gets a very, very good drive, as we expected with a rear-wheel drive car. Just drives away from both Morby and Elliott as they come down 3 wide, possibly going down into turn 1. There's a little bit of argy-bargy that we can see a bit further down the order. The team hard. Chris Shepherd and Daniel Hurlock are going to go side by side for a brief moment, but then you've got Phil Morby that's getting pressured already by Ryan Elliott, who now goes through. So that's Chris Shepherd even. He's going to make the move going through. He does indeed. That even allows the number 87 to come through of Dan Hurlock. So it's currently a team hard 1, 2, 3. It's 2, 3, and 4. But actually, that is not the case, because Hurlock's had a big, big moment, and it's all gone completely wrong. I think that was Monroe that's got involved as well. Butcher, there's lots of people that have had a few, that have had incidents there. There's a big, big, big pile-up. We'll maybe have to get a replay of that to see what actually happened. But I think that was all stemmed from Hurlock getting on the grass, going through down through Starkey's Bridge, but leading now into the main race. Toby Davis already up into P7. Admittedly, he's gained a few freebies though, but he tries to make the move up the inside of his teammate Chris Butcher, but nothing as it stands at the moment. But he's pushing him on. Look at that teamwork as it goes. A little bit of argy-bargy between himself and Dan Kell. Dan Kell's getting very, very aggressive, getting pushed about a little bit. Can't be that aggressive though. There is a point where the aggression just turns into a bullying borderline, and eventually it will go wrong if you keep doing it. That one is done. That is Chogwin that's getting that splits both Butcher and Dan Kell. The reigning champion currently riding and using the number 1. Can he get further up the grid? He's currently running in P9. That was someone else that's gone off as well. I think that was Johannes Leppard that had a little bit of a moment on the exit of Old Hairpin there. Toby Davis still running in P7. He's got Chris Butcher, his teammate, just up ahead. So can he make any more moves forward? I'm sure there's going to be some more battling going on here. Everyone's running a bit more single file at the moment. Everyone's taking it a bit easy, getting used to getting used to the conditions, getting the tyres fully up to temp, getting the brakes working as well and working correctly, not overdriving the car. So the one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to overdrive the car too early. Once you get comfortable with the car, then you can start pushing it, which is what we're probably going to see now. It's this third lap. Ryan Elliott setting the fastest lap of the race so far with a 109.399, half a second away from Dan Hutt. Dan Hutt doing a very, very good job at the moment, keeping the two team hard cars at bay.
Now, yeah, this little battle going on here, we've started with all of the chaos that went on, especially on the opening lap. We've got really the top three, probably quickest drivers right now, Butcher, Davis and McGregor. They've all moved up a lot of places. They've had a brilliant opening lap. They kept themselves out of trouble. That's probably the main goal of lap one. Yes, you can gain a few places, but keep yourself out of trouble, because the race can't be won on lap one, but it can certainly be lost. Now they've got themselves into a bit of a problem where they are probably the quickest. They definitely have the pace to catch the cars up ahead, but now during this freeway battle, and it's inviting these cars further back, like Kell and Maguire, to then get involved into a bit of a fight as well, and it's stopped them from definitely the pace that they're showing right now, and that we know they have, especially Toby Davis, can move up and fight for definitely fight for a podium, maybe even to win if he's got the pace. It's 16 laps, but he's very quick, and this is Chris Butcher trying to go around the outside of Ross McGregor. Following him there is his teammate Toby Davis, and Ross McGregor just gives him up there. It seems he's going to be a bit boxed in as we're going to go through Hollywood. Chris Butcher's got the move done, but now here comes Toby Davis as the battle continues for 5th place down the crane curves in towards the old hairpin. Toby Davis comfortably has that move done now on Ross McGregor and Chris Butcher, and maybe now they've got past Ross McGregor, the two THR cars can start working together and try and close the gap up to the two E-Team hard cards of Elliott and Shepherd and get themselves onto a podium. And there is also Brewster that they have to contend with. Here though, down in 10th, Luke Maguire on the back of Churgwin and the defending champion Kell as we go through Coppice, getting a bit on the curve there, a bit leery there is Luke Maguire. Having to slam on the brakes now is going to be vulnerable to the 444. That is Callum Wilson as they go down the back straight in towards the final chicane. He's not going to be close enough, both using attack modes to defend and trying to attack the position, but neither will be able to take advantage of it. And a good exit there by the number 18, pulls ahead, and now we can try and focus on getting back on the number 43. That is Matthew Churgwin.
Certainly battling all the way up and down the field. Matt Richards just set the fastest lap time you can see at the top of the screen with a 1:08.9. So he's certainly trying to make some moves forward. Unfortunately, though, currently in P13, so he's got a long way to go to get some decent points on the board. But Luke Maguire in P10 still managing to hold off Callum Wilson at bay for the time being in the Infinity rear-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. At the moment, Luke Maguire he's managing holding his own relatively comfortably. We'll have to see again how he looks after his tyres. I don't really see too much in terms of tyre drop-off. Interested to see what the drivers think with the tyre drop-off actually coming into play, if they even feel it at all. Some drivers don't necessarily feel the tyre drop-off, and they're able to keep their tyres going quite a while. As we now ride on board with Matthew Churgwin from the Dreg Racing Infinity car. Currently in P9, he's got the two Zanso Simsport cars up ahead of him, Dan Kell and Ross McGregor, and I believe that is going to be Dan Kell that makes a move on Ross McGregor. It is indeed. Dan McKell moves up into P7, and that is possibly going to allow Churgwin to catch up, because McGregor did lose a little bit of time there on Dan Kell, so this may allow Churgwin to try and capitalise on this move, although it doesn't seem to be happening. No, it does not. It is just going to be I think Ross McGregor that comfortably stays in P8 for the moment at least. But again, anything can change. We simply do not know. A couple of other close battles. We see Dan Herlock. He's fighting quite heavily with, I believe that's Johannes Leppit as well. So we'll see how that battle develops. On the front, it's still relatively close between Elliott and Shepherd. Less than a second between Dan Hutt and Ryan Elliott, and then less than a second between Chris Shepherd. And whoa, this is getting a little bit dicey, isn't it? They're going to go 3 wide down into their final chicane. Are they going to do it? Who's going to come out top? No, it's gone wrong. Who manages to keep? Oh, it's gone wrong even more. Matthew Churgwin eventually is the one that loses out on that massively, unfortunately so. an initial bit of contact and then just got even worse. Matthew Churgwin, the initial contact wasn't his fault. Didn't look like he moved across. He was well entitled to be there. But unfortunately, just didn't quite go his way with that final bit of contact. Didn't see the final contact. I was too busy paying attention to Dan Kell to see if he was going to come barreling across the circuit. But unfortunately, fortunately, sorry, that was not the case. That's a bit of a battle in between Toby Davis and Chris Butcher. That is not good. Teammates coming together, and a big moment there for Chris Butcher. There was contact going into Old Hairpin, and that cost Butcher may have cost him a couple of positions. Toby Davis was the one that gained out of that. He didn't lose any time at all. And I think Dan Kell has capitalised on the fact that Chris Butcher has lost that position. Well, he did, I think, for a brief moment. I think Dan Kell's gone off as well, actually. I believe, yes. Dan Kell has had a moment. I wonder if there was contact. I did just see that what looked like Kell and Butcher coming together. And obviously, Dan Kell seems to have lost out there. He now drops back to P10. But it seems that Dan Kell can't really catch a break at the moment. But a big shame there for the THR guys, Toby Davis and Chris Butcher coming together.
Yeah, but it does give Toby Davis a bit of an advantage here. It gives him a bit of... this is Daniel Herlock attacking the number 46. We can't... It's not on the spot. Oh, it's the number 40, sorry. Johannes Lepid. Very confusing with the numbers not being very visible to me. At least maybe I'm blind and I get myself some glasses. Down towards the Craner curves they go. The inside line for Herlock. He's now going to have to try and go around the outside. Takes a wide line. Trying to get the switch back there on Lepid. Lepid was a bit wide. And Herlock, nicely done. Smart driving there by the E-Team Hard driver as he tries to make his way up the order after having that lap 1 incident at the same corner. Now, 7 laps later, he gets that position. Very smart racing there. But what I think happened with the... Dan Kell incident with Morris, I believe, it just looked like Kell turned in very early. I mean, it was nowhere near the apex, nowhere near really the braking zone. Almost looked intentional. I don't want to say that, point fingers, but at least from the angles we had, I mean, it will be up to the shooters to decide who's at fault. But it looked like Kell turned in very early. He surely should have known that Morris was on his inside, and if he didn't, well, you need to be aware of these sort of things. And then his teammate, McGregor, just decided to follow up and do the second punch. So, very sketchy there for the Zancho team. Dan Herlock with probably the smartest move we've seen of the day so far in towards the old hairpin. Very strategic, smart, planned out move. Not very dicey, which we've also seen with the as Davis was just about to go onto him and Butcher got at the old hairpin. Davis now gets past Brewster, and now with about 7 laps to go, he can start to make his way onto the E-Team Hardboy. He's got 5.3 seconds to make up, but the Elliott and Shepherd were a long way down the order. Toby Davis has won both races. That is a mouthful to say. Now he can try and make his way down, and already he's taken a good second out of him. So has Shepherd maybe had a mistake somewhere? As that gap's already gone down to 3.4 seconds, 2.4 now. Toby Davis making light work of this gap, really closing down, and he's showing the pace advantage he has over the top 3. And like I said, now it gives him a chance to maybe just fight for a podium and maybe even to win and get the hat-trick of the race wins.
Well, 6 laps to go. We will have to see. He's going to have to really put in a drive, though. The gap, 3.3 seconds. So we'll see if he can do it. Not only that's the gap to the leader, but he's also then got to get past 2 cars, 3 cars even. Oh, bit of contact there between Dan Hunt. You see he goes a little bit wide between... so Dan Hunt on the exit of McLean's. And that's going to be... Oh, you can't turn in there because there's a car on the way. Ryan Elliott, though, manages to keep his foot in. So that position has been lost. Dan Hunt is now in 2nd place and might even lose a position to Shepherd, perhaps. He's going to be on the inside line. He's going to have the preferred line going down into the final chicane. And I think it is going to be yes. So that one small little mistake there at the exit of McLean's cost Dan Hutt 2 position. Does mean, though, he is still in a podium position, but for how much longer? Because have a look at that. Davis, all of a sudden, 3.3 seconds is now 1.3 seconds even away from the leaders. It is going to... Sorry, that's an interval. Apologies. So he's still about 3 seconds away. So it has come down a little bit. It just depends on what lap times he is able to do. and that's obviously something that we are going to see. If a little bit of contact there as Dan Hurt tries to get back up the inside. In fact, he does. So he just slots back up the inside, going through old hairpin on Chris Shepherd. And have a look, all of a sudden, Davis is just there on the back, and he's going to move. He's going to make a move straight up the inside. Oh, no, 3 cars don't fit into one space.
Opportunistic.
That was a little bit too aggressive, unfortunately, there. I mean, in all honesty, Toby Davis, he did manage to get it done, but a little bit too much contact in there. A bit more contact as well. It's all starting to kick off in race number 3. And have a look at that, the number 39, that is Brewster.
Oh, Chris Butcher. Chris Butcher's now got himself into this as well. Now, this is touring car racing to a T. Very argy-bargy side by side, and we're not even on the final couple of laps like we've seen. Chris Butcher getting tagged in the rear there by the number 99, Dan Hunt. He's going to be very bitter. He's fallen from the lead all the way down the order. That's down to 6th from the race lead, but yeah, very opportunistic. And that was that Brewster that's got himself into 3rd as well. That is brilliant. Toby Davis, he definitely had the move on for 2nd there. He was definitely side by side and had the inside line. I don't quite know what he was thinking going for the lead of the race. But Elliott still out ahead in the race lead. 2.9 seconds is the gap between himself and Toby Davis. Chris Butcher's also getting himself now up the order. He's into 4th after having an adventure after a bit of contact with his teammate at the old hairpin. THR boys having a blimer of a weekend so far, and there is Chris Butcher getting him past Brewster, and then Brewster's going to be fallen victim to Shepherd as well. Now, it's one of those things, if you lose 1 at Coppice, you lose 2, and now Brewster is looking to lose 3 here as Dan Hunt trying to get himself back up the order. He's going to go 3 wide into the final chicane, late on the brakes there by Hutt. Can he get it done? A bit of contact there with Shepherd. Shepherd has to cut across the final corner, runs a bit wide there. Now it's about Dan Kell getting involved in all of this as well. And for number 444, where has he come from? Callum Wilson's come out of nowhere, and he's got himself into 4th. Where the hell has he come from?
He's certainly just appeared out of nowhere, hasn't he? This is all of a sudden really opened up. I mean, there's a little bit too much content now, even for touring car standards. This may be a little bit too aggressive for the drivers. And let's just back it off a little bit. Make sure they compose themselves into these final stages of this race. Matt Richard, though, he's all of a sudden just appeared as well. Let's keep an eye out to see what Matt Richard can do. I think he got blocked a little bit by Brewster, because I see Matt Richard was flashing his lights a little bit. So I think that may have been what happened there, but he's still certainly trying to, he's still very much there in P6, so it's really kicked all of a sudden. Toby Davis, 2.2 seconds now between himself and Ryan Elliott, so let's keep an eye out. So again, another very strong performance from the THR chaps as it stands at the moment, but this is the battle that we're really interested in. It's from P4 all the way down, so that's probably around about P10, P11 really, so it is anyone's game here. It's actually P12 as well. We've got the 2 cars that's tagged onto the back of it, and it's just, you see there is the train. So anything can happen here. Johannes Lepper is leading the back of this train. We'll see what can happen. Matt Richards up the inside, the Aerostream Motorsport car. Manages to make the move, albeit very briefly. I think Bruce is going to try and come back. No, he does not. Dan Kell decides that he wants to have a piece of the action as well as he comes down craning curves. He's coming on the inside for Old Hairpin. Can he make it stick? It's going to be the last of the late breakers down into Old Hairpin. Can he carry the speed through? I believe he can. But then have a quick look as well behind, because I think, no, he does. So Dan Kell has managed to get it. So Dan Kell moves up into P6. Brewster drops down at 7th. Chris Shepherd now goes into P8. You just see the move there he made on Dan Hutt. So Dan Hutt dropping down the order, unfortunately. Had a very good run all the way. It's just slipping down the order ever so slightly now. It's very easy to get caught in this this movement as you go backwards. It's very easy to get tagged in. It's something that I've done a few times as well. You seem to lose one position and they all just come very quickly in quick succession. You never have a chance to settle back into a rhythm, which is certainly a bit of a shame. But the battle for P4 is still very much on the go, even though the gaps have opened up a little bit with the battle for P4. Callum Wilson is leading. We're leading this battle and this train in 4. Can Matt Richards make a position and final position to match his race 2 performance and slot into P4? Considering where he was at the start of this race, I was not expecting to see Matt Richards all the way up in P5 fighting for P4. But there we go, a little bit further down, you can just see again, still a big train. In fact, the next train that we've got now, arguably, is Cameron Brewster, all the way down then to Johannes Lepper. So Cameron Brewster leading this, leading the second straight.
Yeah, sorry, I'd just like to put in there, Davis, that gap's just about half a second now as we're about to go on to the final lap of the race. Davis and Elliott, we could be having a last lap battle for the lead. Can Elliott get the race free win, or can Toby Davis get the sweep? So forget the battle for fourth, we've got the battle for the win going on here, maybe. Up towards the final chicane though right now, car number 4, that is Matt Richards trying to get past the car number 444. Can't quite get it done. Wilson with a penalty there. That'll be for track limits. Matt Richards will say thank you to that. But Toby Davis, the gap's now just to about a 10th, and we could be seeing a bit of a battle. If we can get some shots of that, that'll be brilliant. End to the race. Being able to watch that as everyone, as we thank you to our TV director, those do get eyes on this battle then as they go down towards Old Hairpin. Elliott versus Davis. They're going to go through Starkeys Bridge up towards McLean's. Then we go. First real opportunity, overtaking opportunity if he can get close enough up at McLean's. He's very close. He thinks about the outside, just sets up the line there, gets a better apex, gets a better run, and he had a bit of an overlap there. Elliott goes the fence as we go up towards Coppice for the final time this weekend. Can't go around the outside. Maybe he can there. A bit too tight for Elliott. Round the outside, Toby Davis. He drifts a bit wide though, and now Chris Butcher might be able to get himself involved. He's not close enough, but that was a... He didn't get the best of runs there, Toby Davis, and now I think Elliott, as he's going to go through the final chicane for the final time, he will take the race free win there. It's going to be a drag race up towards the line, but Elliott will win, and Davis will dive into the pit.
Davis goes into the pit.
He got a penalty, and
I think a few of them did.
At the final chicane there for Davis, he will go into the pits, and he will drop down to 5th, and Butcher will take 2nd, and a lot of penalties there. And Kell has now got himself onto the podium. Shepherd 4th, Brewster 5th. Those penalties at the end there of everyone trying to get a last-ditch effort through the final chicane has really rejigged the order, and everything we've known for those first 15 and a bit laps, the final 2 turns has caused absolute chaos there on the last lap.
Well, it certainly has, as you say there. It's so you got Ryan Elliott is now it takes the race victory. Chris Butcher in 2nd, Dan Kell is P3. Chris Shepherd 4th, Cameron Brewster in 5th, Daniel Herlock 6th, Dan Hutt in P7, Ross McGregor in 8th, Johannes Leppert in 9th, Matthew Turgman rounds out your top 10, Phil Morby takes P11, and then you've got Sam Downman in 12th, Toby Davis 13th, Callum Wilson in 14th, Matt Richards in 15th, so that was certainly a big turn of events on that final race. Ben Willis takes 16th, Luke McGuire 17th, and then Scott Morris, John Monroe, and then Luke Mitchell, your final steps and your final spots on the podium. Well, that was an interesting turn of events. Did you say track limits there, affecting the very, very end of the race, quite literally the end of the race. And there we go. There is your final classification of Ryan Elliott, Chris Butcher, and then Dan Kell in P3. There's Toby Davis in 4th, and then Chris Shepherd in 5th. Sorry, no, that's Toby Davis. Would have had the P4 is a little bit possibly jiggling around that may be yet to come for that timing tower, because we see that Toby Davis and Chris Shepherd both showing as P4. That may not certainly be the case. What we're seeing from the live timing shows us a little bit of a different story. But either way, that was a very, very interesting end to the final. Like I said, it happened right on the very, very final lap. You do have a couple of laps that I believe to be able to serve penalties. So that could have been very well what the case was, trying to make up as many positions as possible, and then obviously diving into the pit. So, it may have been some tactics even in there as well. We're going to leave it a couple of moments, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat with a few of our drivers. And then once we have hopefully then have a chat with a couple of drivers, and then we'll be signing off for the evening. Toby Davis is already with us, so we're hopefully going to have a chat with him. And we're actually going to have a chat with both of the THR boys. Gentlemen, welcome to the commentary box. First off, I'd just like to say, really, really good race overall for both of you and for the THR team in general. Toby, just want to start with you, if I may. Really, really good race 1, race 2, and to be fair, race 3 didn't quite go to plan towards the end as with yourself and a few drivers, but overall pace was certainly there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we worked very, very hard on the setup. and we worked very hard on making sure that we had all our tactics right and everything. And yes, race 1 and race 2 were wonderful. Absolutely, almost the dream result, you know. Yeah, and then race 3, I literally got the drive-through penalty as I exited that chicane on the last lap. So yeah, perhaps I should have taken it easier, but there we are. It is what it is. Well done to Ryan. He did a great job in race 3. Yeah, I think it shows. Yeah, we're absolutely back. Chris won a couple of seasons ago, and obviously Dan Kell won last season. So great to be back at the front.
Well, certainly so, and you know, Chris, as you say, you know, a previous winner of the TCUK from VMO. Yeah, I mean, again, really good pace between yourself and Toby. I think this certainly stems a very, very good first outing for you, and hopefully paves the way for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, the team's worked very hard on the setup and extracting as much pace as we could from the car, and yeah, as Toby alluded to, dream result for the first 2 races, maximum points, and race 3. Okay, Toby had that issue, but still a really good result for the team. Yeah, pretty strong. You know, we felt our main competitors going into this were going to be Zanshow, and they seem to have had a bit of a difficult event. So that's a really good foundation for us to build from, and hopefully we can continue it through the season. We think Brands will be difficult for us because we're pretty sure the rear-wheel drive cars are going to have the edge there. But yeah, really good start.
Absolutely, no, really good stuff. And racing overall was absolutely fantastic. Hopefully, we'll be able to see obviously more of this moving forward the remainder of the season. And you say Brands Indy, a little bit more of a tricky one. In terms of car, but Toby, just going back to you as well. In terms of, are you already starting testing now, or is it something you want to normally get the race out of the way first and then jump into testing? As soon are you going to be testing straight from the word go?
No, I'm going to take probably a few days off, I think. THR are involved in other championships elsewhere as well, so we've got other things to focus on. But certainly from a personal level, I think I'll start after the weekend. But yeah, we're going to struggle a lot more at Brands Hatch. The rear-wheel drive cars will have an advantage there. So yeah, we wanted to make, Chris said it earlier, we wanted to make hay while the sun shines. Where we've got an advantage, let's use it, and I think we did well. So I think Chris is now leading the championship, and hopefully I think I'm second. So that's wonderful news. We'll see what we can get out of Brands Hatch and go from there. But really enjoyable evening. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast as well. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. Really, really good to see you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you in similar, possibly even better circumstances next week to both of you. But no, gents, thank you very much again, and good luck for next week.
Thanks, Daniel. Nice one, mate.
Thanks, Daniel.
Take care. So good racing then, a good day out for the THR guys. Certainly something that they'll be certainly wanting more of those. But we are going to now have a chat with the one and only Mr. Matt Richards. Matt. So. I mean, a bit of I wouldn't say necessarily a mixed result. We certainly had some good pace. Really, really good start of the first race. Got the car hooked up nicely. BMW seems to be working for you, but do you feel there's a bit more to be had out of the car at the moment?
There's a lot more to be had out of the car. I came in very unprepared. I was expecting to miss the first round with some of the commitments, but a few things didn't quite line up. So yeah, it wasn't quite as prepared as I'd like to be, and I think the setup is quite a ways off. There's a few areas where I struggled against the THR guys. In all fairness to them, they did a perfect job in race 1 and 2. They had the car under them, they managed the tyres perfectly, and just pulled the moves and the push to pass where they needed to. So they did a really good job, and I think there's a lot of catching up for other people to do.
Well, certainly so, and as you say, it's an interesting. You've got obviously a long way to go in the season yet, so it's not over. In terms of the independent entries, I believe you are leading the independent entries as it stands at the moment. So, it's always good. And then in terms of the BMW, how is the BMW driving anyways? Was there a particular decision to choose it for this year, or is it something you were thinking of quite a while back?
I ran it last season, and I was always intending to keep a rear-wheel drive platform. It's something that works well for me. I think, as I said, there's a lot of work to do with the car, and I think average lap time wise, I was missing probably up to half a second over a race distance at least. So there's definitely a lot to find. It was nice to be back, but the results could have been a lot better given some of the mistakes that I made.
No worries. Well, I mean, the only way is up. I think, to be fair, by the sounds of it, we've got some good progression to be had out of the car. So hopefully, we'll look forward to catching up with and seeing those progressions later on. But Matt, thank you very much for jumping in, and we look forward to catching up with you next time.
No problem at all. Hopefully, I get to speak to you next time as well.
Indeed. So, there we are. Calendar up on your screen. Round number 1 is done. And then we have Brands Indy next, as what Chris Butcher and Toby Davis was alluding to. I think it seems that the rear-wheel drive cars are going to have a little bit of an advantage at Brands Indy. We move to Silverstone International. Big, it's a fast circuit in Silverstone International. Thruxton, interesting circuit to say the least. That's going to be, again, another very, very fast circuit. Fastest circuit in the UK. Then we've got Alton Park, Croft, Snetterton, Knockhill, Silverstone National, and then rounding off with Brands Hatch GP, because of course you couldn't round off with anything else other than that. But Dylan, first race having gone, I think overall, first round even, really, really good stuff. This is going to be a very, very interesting season. I believe we might have lost Dylan for a few moments, but either way, hopefully we'll bring him back in a moment.
Sorry, hello.
Oh, yes, we have him back now. Sorry, Dylan.
I had myself muted for that.
That's right. So round 1, obviously, has now finished, concluded. It is going to be a very, very interesting championship. We are 100% sure of, let's be honest. But I think moving forward, we've got some, for the rest of the season, we don't necessarily know. It's very, very early to tell who's got the advantage outright.
Oh, indeed. I mean, especially with that the third race, it was very topsy-turvy, but as I was trying to say, before I was talking to myself, basically, each race today has got better and better, so hopefully we can continue that momentum into Brands Hatch Indy. I mean, race 1 at times was a bit stale, but then towards the end it got better. Then race 2, everyone had got comfortable on elbows out, and then race 3, reverse grid, all guns blazing, absolute chaos, and it's really interesting, and hopefully we can build on to the next round at Brands Hatch. Again, a very scrappy circuit with not too many defined overtaking opportunities. Paddock Hill, very similar to Redgate. In fact, it's not quite low speed, it's more medium speed, but the overtaking opportunity is there. It's slightly off camber. Downhill, the elevation change, Paddock Hill, turn 1, lap 1 is going to be interesting. Then the chaos at Druids. It's just going to be brilliant. Again, I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed, as am I. But we do unfortunately have to wrap up for this round. Thank you all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Big thank you as well to VMO for organising TCUK 2022. And big thanks as well to Mike providing us cameras and the ability to watch and for everyone else to watch the stream as well. Dylan, thank you very much. Pleasure to have worked with you for the first time, and hopefully this will be the first of many. But we will see everyone, all being well, next race at Brands Hatch Indy. Make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe, and keep an eye out for when these races are and when the calendar pops up. It's certainly going to be a very, very interesting season. The 13th of next month is when it is. So a couple of weeks' time, stick around, but we will see you next time. And as always, take care, stay safe.